Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fourth installment of our YouTube ads experiment. Uh, it's okay. I'm always tripped up by the delay. Okay, so what I have for you today? So what do I have? I have put this my other monitor. I have first of all I'm gonna show you the results of 1 week of running our ad. What has changed? How many sales did we make from this ad? How much did we spend, etc., etc. Um, we're also we're gonna really dive into those numbers that we have. Um, After that, I'm gonna discuss what we're gonna do afterwards, basically to further expand and optimize the campaign. What else can we do? Um, and then lastly, I have a new segment to the show. So this is kind of evolving to a show, which I'm gonna talk to you about right at the end of our 30-minute stream. So without further ado, let's jump in. Let me give you the details of what we actually produced with our campaigns. Switch screens here. Right. No, not this one, but this one. So let's start actually by looking at the whole campaign, and I'm going to show you the whole week. So we set this up last week, Monday, the 1st of February. Right. So first of all, let me give you some context to what you're seeing here. So we set up the campaign on Monday. Always the ad needs some time for it to be approved. And then actually it got disproved. It got disproved because of Google flagged it as kind of over-the-counter drug sales. So this is something, if you've done anything with Google in terms of adding creative to your campaigns, so that means images or videos or something, Google is always great at coming up with reasons why to disapprove you. And you will find that most of the times, if you're not doing dodgy stuff, which I'm not, Google is gonna flag your campaign and ads. So for me, it was over-the-counter drugs. So I got in touch. There's like an appeal you can do straight in the interface. That didn't work. So I think on Thursday or something, I needed some data to show to you guys. So on Thursday, I actually got in touch with the YouTube support. And they quickly reviewed, asked me a few questions. They said that they would come back to me. I got an email a couple of hours later saying that it was their mistake. They flagged me incorrectly, and the video should start showing. Now, so that was around Thursday, and I still didn't get any impression. Maybe I should put here impressions as well to just show you. The graph looks pretty similar. So it's only on the Sunday the 7th, and then today that I actually did get some responses now, or some data, some impressions and some clicks coming in. So here, this is the campaign that we created. As you can see, it's like YouTube, middle of the funnel. And it's middle of the funnel because I kind of know that this is not like a top of the funnel ad. The ad would need to be a lot better. And I'm gonna discuss some ideas on what we can do afterwards. So if you at any point during the stream, if you have any questions, remarks, or things you want to ask me, like, be sure to drop it in the comments. I'm happy to dive a little bit deeper on to see what you're interested in as well. Okay, so the campaign, it didn't get any impressions, and let me tell you why. So we started out actually with a bid strategy. So last week we set a bid strategy and we did target CPA, right? So, and then we set actually a budget that was probably a little bit too low. So I had a target CPA also of around 20. So here Google gives like a typical CPA for a video campaign. So I actually set this $20 €20 CPA, which is a bit too high for me. I can afford to pay anywhere like 7-8 euro to break even. Anyway, I had this at 20 and it wasn't really spending, and I didn't really want to up the budget or lower the CPA. So what I did instead, I changed this to maximize conversions. This is kind of to push the campaign a little bit, let it run, let it get some data. This isn't ideal. If you're familiar with shopping or search or something, this is the equivalent, I think, of maximize clicks, where if things aren't working or you want to do set up like some quick research, that's really where you want the campaign to kind of run on its own for a little bit. So that's why I do the maximize conversions. So this is what I changed it to, and as soon as I change this, you can actually see it. I changed it, I think, yesterday towards my evening. And you can see it like ticking up straight away. So in terms of clicks, views, any way you want to look at it. Now, we see these numbers, right? So actually, let me show you the ad. Let me show you the ad again to just give you some context if you weren't.
Ever since I was a small boy, I've been fascinated by space. Seeing all those rocket launches, imagining.
Give me a second. This is probably not coming through. Well, so let me actually do something here. Turn this on. And then let me know when you can hear this. I'm gonna rewind. Can't I rewind?
Ever since I was a small boy, I've been fascinated by space. Seeing all those rocket launches, imagining astronauts exploring different planets, going on the moon, always fascinated me. So that's why I'm super happy I discovered Apes in Space. They're a space poster company. What does that mean? Let me show you what I just ordered. So this is the one that I got, the Apollo 11 mission. It's always fascinated me, so I'm really glad I got this one.
Right. So this is our ad. You can see it's not the world's best ad, but I don't think it's terrible either. So the thing is with this ad, so the one of the most important things to look at straight away is here the view rate, right? So reiterating, a view means if your ad is more than 30 seconds. So a view is kind of if people watch more than 30 seconds, or if they watch, or if your video is shorter than that, it will also count as a view. So here in my case, my view rate is 11%. Actually, my ad is probably a little bit too long as well for it. So not ideal. So here a view rate 11%, it's kind of on the low side, right? So there's very few people sticking around to actually watch the video. So people can skip after 5 seconds. So if you see here, let me show you. Here there's actually so in the overview section, you can always find like pretty interesting graphs or something, things that you wouldn't go look at by yourself. This is a way to kind of unearth some other things. Yeah, so it's pretty slow. Let me actually do a refresh here. Also can't. Okay, so if we think about like 5 seconds, let me turn this off. if we think about 5 seconds, like where does this end up, right? So 5 seconds, boom. So somebody can skip right here, right? So the skip ad button pops up. Now, if I was getting this ad, I also wouldn't be impressed, right? So this is my face, with scruffy hair, scruffy beard. Nothing interesting is really going on. So I want to show you the graph that I saw. Okay, so here we actually have the audience retention for this ad. So here you can see 100%. So we're sticking. So after about 5 seconds, we're still engaging 95% of people. I'm wondering what happens with the other 5%. Like maybe they skip and they don't watch the video because they have to watch the first 5 seconds. But you can see like pretty much after, like if you look at 6 seconds, so that's 1 second after the skip button becomes available, again 30% drops off. Another second later, again 20% drops off, until we get to about, let's say 15 seconds in. Excuse me. So 15 seconds in, it starts trailing off. Like it's not that steep anymore. So if we see what happens here after 15 seconds, see if something happens. No. So this is probably the weakest point of our ad, right? So it's actually 20 seconds of me like talking to the camera. That's probably way too much. So if we look here at that 20 seconds, right? Here 20 seconds, and then afterwards we don't see a drop off anymore because I don't know if people are actually interested or if these are just people that have the ads. So sometimes I have YouTube open as well when I'm cooking, for example, and an ad will pop up and I won't be able, my hands will be dirty, I won't be able to switch it off. So actually it will play the 1 or 2 ads that are in that ad block. So probably this is like a result of that, but still in between 20 seconds and the end of the video, you have like 15% more people that are actually skipping the ad. So I think this is probably the weakest point of my current campaign, and that's my ad. Because as I said, a good rate or when I'm working with clients and we're running YouTube ads, is around like 30%. So I have actually put together a page. I've got the link below the video with some benchmarks if you are running your own YouTube ads campaign. So there's actually a couple of benchmarks on how to evaluate your campaigns. First up is, well, to me is the view rate, right? So if I look at the view rate, so here the average view rate is about 32%. So that's people. So when people watches 30 seconds of your video ad, or if the duration is shorter than 30 seconds, or if they interact with the ad, right? So if they click through or something. So the view rate, to me, the view rate is essential, right? And everything else comes forward out of the view rate. If the view rate is kind of equivalent to a click-through on Google Ads, right? So if people stick around and your view rate is high, Google/YouTube, they know that your ad is relevant to the person that's seeing the ad. So this is kind of combines both creative, the ad, and also the targeting. Now, if we take a look, so at this point, it's kind of hard. It's not that hard, but it's hard to know, is it the targeting that's really bad, or is it the creative that's really bad, or is it the targeting? Since we're doing placement targeting, we have a pretty good idea of where the ad is showing up, and that is a pretty relevant audience for our products, right? So I think the placements, like right now as well, one major downside, I just said, it can be 2 things, or there's actually 3 parts to our campaigns. Maybe that's easier how to say. There's the creative, there's the targeting, and then there's the stuff that happens on the landing page. I'm at this point, I'm ignoring what happens on my landing page, right? I'm not interested, or I am interested in conversions, but at this point it's not relevant. I'm focusing on those first two parts of, first of all, getting views, getting clicks, and then also making sure that my ads are showing in those right places. And so those two parts I need to get right first, before then I can actually look at what happens on the on my site. So actually the click-through rate isn't super bad if I look at the last 2 days. So it's not that much going on, but yeah. So the view rate is really poor. The average cost per view, if I look here at my benchmark, so the average cost per view is here, 26 cents. Let's make that 30 cents. 3 cents, right? So 3 cents. So you can see here, I'm pretty much above, punching above like where I should be, right? So what I actually, this is kind of a result of the view rate being poor. So if the view rate is poor, it's kind of like the quality score effect that you see in search campaigns. Your average cost per view will also be high, and your average CPM, so the cost to reach 1,000 people, will also be higher. So this, again, if I check out the benchmarks, I have here CPM. So you can see here, this is around like 10, used to be 10, it's dropping a little bit more, so it was like around 7. It really dropped during Q1 of 2020, but probably went up a little bit after. So you can see there like 7, right? So here with 14, we're actually way too high. So again here, I think this is because of the poor creative. Now let me actually show you what's happening on my website, right? So this is going a reminder. So this is actually my space poster store. Let me show you where that goes. Right, so this is where it's actually going. It's actually going to my homepage, where I have a pretty good page. People convert, like if you look at here, okay, we haven't made any sales the last 2 days, but we're converting, I think, around like 0.3, 0.5%, right? So it's not the best site, but certainly not poor neither. Okay, so you can see I'm running a few other campaigns. I'm running a shopping campaign and a search campaign, but right now we're focused here on the YouTube campaign. No, actually, let me go back. And you can see I've spent in the last 2 days. I've actually spent $41 to get 17 clicks to my website. So that comes out to a 2.43 dollar cost per click, right? And while that might seem really high, remember that most of the spend, it's actually going to people on YouTube, right? So it's actually, we're paying people to, or we're paying YouTube to get views. So we're not paying them to get clicks. So that's why you will find that CPC is actually a lot higher. But then if we take a look at actually the quality of the visitors that are coming through, here obviously the shopping, this is a campaign that's running some tests. The bounce rate here is really high. So 91%, it's a really high bounce rate. So probably what I'm trying here, or the latest iteration of this experiment, it is kind of off. But here, this bounce rate is actually pretty good, right? So 26% of people that come onto the page actually goes away without interacting with the page. And that means that 75% of people are sticking around, and we have the pages per session of around 4. So we know that actually the people that have clicked through, and probably the people that bothered to watch the ad, they actually are of pretty good quality. So it means that if we can get the campaign a little bit better, get those clicks a little bit cheaper, this might actually be something of value for us. Right. So next steps. So what am I going to show you? So right now, as I said, I only have a single video in here. So I can't really say, is it a video or is it a creative, right? Because right now we have one creative, one targeting method, or one set of targeting, and we only have like one combination. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna create a second ad. So we'll have two ads, and I'm gonna create a second group of placements, right? So we'll have two ads, two placements. So we'll have 4 different combinations that are possible. So what I'm gonna do practically, I'm gonna create a second ad group with different placement options. And I'm also gonna put in those 2 ads. I'm gonna create a new ad here. And I'm also gonna put those 2 ads in that other placement. And then we'll be able to see here, like which of the placements is actually working best and which of the ads is actually working best. Now let me actually zoom in on the placements where we were showing up and kind of the associated view rate. So if we had more data and we had like a better ad as well, here's kind of where you would see if something is valuable or not, right? So here we have actually a view rate of only 9%. So this cost us $17, 17 euros in total already. So that's a lot. And this is actually for a channel that I thought would do really well. You can see here the view rate is a little bit higher on other channels. So here we have like 70%. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Right. Let me double check. So placement is actually stuff that we selected. Where ads showed is kind of a way for you to double check if your ads really were showing in the right places. So here it is kind of it is what we've selected. So that's pretty good. So this will also be interesting, right? So if we have that second ad, how will that influence things? Right. No. Actually, something that I would also want to do here, because we had a few clicks and they were of, I think they were of like good quality. I want to add that also into this channel. Right, so you can see here the click-through rate is also, so if we take a look at the average click-through rates, next section, so we have around 0.65, right? So you see that we're actually doing pretty well with the people that are spending the time to look at the ad. We are doing okay. Even here where we have like a very poor view rate, we're actually not doing too bad. Now, so I told you about the plans, what I'm gonna do. So basically next week, I want to do kind of the same, like run through some of the changes, run through some of the data of the things that I've been seeing, some of the results. Yeah. And now, so I promised you we had something extra. Okay. So with that said, so that brings us to behind the click, right? So this is a kind of a new segment that I'm thinking of launching. So you're kind of seeing it as a premiere in this on this live stream, and kind of like talk a bit about what's actually current, what's happening behind the click on Google Ads in the PPC ecosystem. So one of the top things, as I'm gonna use the last 5 minutes here to chat about these things. And the biggest change last week was the change that Google was making to the modifiers, right? So they dropped the bomb that actually modified broad match would be discontinued. So starting February, they're kind of changing it over. So modified broad match will actually become phrase match. So here you can see I found this visual pretty helpful. So this is what's happening right now. So we have phrase match and we have modified broad as being two different match types. And then starting actually July is when it will be when the transition will be fully complete. You won't be able to add any modified broad match anymore to your campaigns, and it will all be phrase match. Now, what are a couple of so I'm still like thinking through figuring out the impact because it's not that phrase match will embody everything that was happening in modified broad match before. So all the match types again are changing, right? So the exact changes will only be visible in the actual account. We'll have to see, okay, with this new type of phrase match, what kind of keywords are we seeing come in? But a few things are definitely clear. So we're gonna have to review our strategy. So most of my strategy, or a very common thing that I used and recommended in our courses, recommended that people use, was to use modified broad match as kind of a keyword research type of thing in your campaigns, right? To kind of let it sit there, let it run, and when you found like interesting queries, to add those as phrase or exact match to your campaigns. So right, so I would use mainly the 3 match types. I would stay away from broad. Only in a few cases I would actually use that. But with phrase match now, or with modified broad match gone, we're kind of left to phrase match and exact match. So exact match probably will become more important, right? So exact match isn't exact anymore, but it's gonna be the best that we have. So exact match is going to be reserved for those queries where we know that we see in our search terms reports where we know sales come in and that we kind of want to single out to make sure that we're getting enough visibility. And then phrase match will actually become kind of the keyword research tool inside of it will become the keyword research tool inside of sorry if you have any noise. Okay, hope that's better. So keyword phrase match will become the keyword research part. So going forward and in these next few weeks, so Google is already rolling out those changes. So what's going to be important is monitoring your search terms report, really looking at which queries are coming in, probably beefing those out. If you were using phrase match as kind of a reserved type of thing and you had it in your ad groups, you had ad groups that only had those phrase match, kind of time to revise them. Consider switching those to maybe exact match, so you keep kind of the meaning well, because otherwise what will end up happening as well is there will be a lot of duplicate keywords, right? And you won't necessarily see it because they won't look the same, but they will trigger the same keywords, and that's the main thing that we want to avoid. So it's kind of keeping a good eye on your search terms report, and then second, also review some of your account structures already, and see like the impact. Right now it's just about trying to judge like the impact it will have, and the exact difference there will be between the broad match as we knew it and the phrase match as we're learning now. So with that said, that's kind of the behind the click part that I had for you this week. I don't know if anybody has any questions about it, or you can drop it in the chat, or hit me up on Twitter or something, or drop a comment on this video. I would love to hear what you think, what you thought about this episode of our YouTube ads experiment, and I look forward to yeah, to next week to update you with fresh details of our experiment. Take care and see you next week.